Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well. So today I wanted to do a review on my Eastwood 20-gallon parts washer. Now this is water-based cleaner parts washer only, so you can't use solvents like gasoline or diesel or any of those other flammable cleaners in this particular parts washer. The thing that I see different with this, there are some characteristics that are different from other parts washers that are out there. Say, for example, like Harbor Freight. But as far as the dimensions, as well as the way that the tub looks and all of that, it's pretty much the same. I really do like Eastwood's, first their logo, which you can see on top there, as well as their color. Theirs only comes in this blue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of, walk you around it, kind of showing you different things as well as the upgrades that I've done to it, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do with your parts washer where it doesn't cost you a lot of money. So stay tuned. All right, so the first thing that you can see here is I put a magnetic paper towel holder on here. I actually bought this from Harbor Freight. It's blue. It pretty much matches the Eastwood paint color. It's off a little bit, but not by a lot. And this comes in handy because what I've noticed is when I've been washing parts and I needed, paper towel to dry my hands off, instead of me walking around and trying to go find one, just have it right here. The other thing is right here, you can see I have surge protected power strip. Basically what this is used for is just for power to, I have a heater on here, which I'll show you that. It's for that, but then it's also to plug the unit for the pump into where it's all in one spot. I actually put magnets on the back of it, but what ends up happening is because of the metal being powder coated, the power strip would slide down. It wouldn't fall off, but it would slide down, so I had to zip tie it on there. So as you can see here, I use commando hooks. If you look on there, I use some commando hooks to route all of my wires, so that, to kind of make it look neat. And then on the bottom shelf here is where I have my cleaners at. I actually designed and built this dolly here. I use 2x4s for the frame, and I use 2.5-inch deck screws, and I use 4-inch casters that are rubber and they have brakes on them. And I believe the rating for the casters is 1,000 pounds with all 4 wheels together. I'll verify that and I'll put it in the video if it's anything different. Now, a lot of people use the dollies from Harbor Freight, which I looked into that, and it would have fit this parts washer. But my issue with that particular dolly was the fact that it has smaller casters. I think they were maybe 2 to 3 inches. I'm thinking they're maybe 3 inches. They didn't have brakes on them, and then the wood for the dolly itself was a lot thinner. And then the other thing is that dolly wouldn't raise the parts washer up very high, because I was kind of wanting to raise it up high enough whereas I didn't have to lean over. I don't even know why they make these parts washers so short. Anyway, I'm not a tall person. I'm only 5'7.5", and it's like, you be leaning over, hunching over. If you washing parts for like an hour or so, you're going to start having, your back is going to start hurting. So this dolly raises it up like almost 9 inches off the ground. See that? It's like 8.5 inches, which makes a big difference, because when I'm washing my parts, I can stand straight up. I don't have to hunch over. and I could rest my elbows on the actual tub of the parts washer, in which I'll show you that. So as you can see here, with standing next to the parts washer, I'm resting my arm comfortably on the lid. So with it being raised this high up off the ground, it just makes it so much easier and comfortabler when washing parts. I've washed parts for a couple hours and I didn't have back fatigue or arm fatigue, and it was very comfortable. So most of the time what I can do, I can just rest my arms here and just, wash the parts that I need. And, it's like, it just makes it so much easier. Then also when I'm moving this around, because what I do is once I'm done washing my parts, I wheel this whole thing to our basement sink. So I don't have to carry the part, take it out of here, put it in our sink and wash it off. So yeah, it works really good with having the parts washer raised up this high. And then the other thing too about this dolly, which I thought about this after the fact, I'm actually going to put 2 more 2x4s across the bottom, so I have another shelf that I can store stuff on, particularly the cover that I use to cover the parts washer. Alright, and then this is a shelf. I actually, like a lot of other people, I flip mine upside down, so that I can have this lip here so that things wouldn't fall off, because when I wheel this around in the basement, which is where I store my parts washer, stuff actually slides around down here. Now, to prevent that, you could probably put like one of those rubber mats or rubber drawer liners that Harbor Freight uses for their tool carts, which I may just do that. I'm not quite sure yet. I kind of like the way the blue looks. So anyway, I pretty much store anything parts washer related down here on this shelf. And as you can see, let me bring it a little closer. I went on ahead and installed an actual drain valve here with a hose, because it came with one of those screw-in plugs, in which that's going to be a mess if once you're trying to drain the fluid out. It's going to get everywhere. And so this way I can just pull the hose out, put it inside of a 5-gallon bucket and just drain it out that way. So that actually worked pretty good. Here, this is my work light that I use. It's magnetic. See that? And what I do is I put this, when I open the lid, I just attach it to it. And what's really cool about this is that it's rechargeable, by a micro USB charger. And then also it opens up, so I can position this perfectly where I need the light to be while I'm washing my parts. And this is an Eastwood product. They call it a cob light, and it's rechargeable. It lasts about, it only has 2 light settings. It has low, which is like 3 hours continuous on the charge, and then on high it's like 1 hour. Okay, and then over here, this is actually a thermometer for the fluid temp. And let me zoom in so you can see. So right now the fluid temp is 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason why I'm using this is because we're doing my research online, and also with the type of parts cleaner that I use, it says that it works better when it's been heated to like 105 to 110 degrees. So that's pretty much the reason why I had bought this. And it actually has a battery in it as well. It's rechargeable, but I have mine plugged in, so when I turn the power strip off, this actually turns off as well. So on this side, here's the power switch for the pump. The switch is actually protected with the rubber, and this wire here, this is for the probe for the thermometer, which goes all the way back, because there's like, here, let me show you. See right here, you see how there's a little gap there? So it's like the perfect spot to where it wouldn't pinch the wire going into the tub itself. And then of course I have the power cable for the switch. I just routed it behind with these command hooks, and it actually works really well. This right here is some cardboard wrapped with duct tape, and the reason why I made this is I wedged it underneath the lip here to push down on the switch so it doesn't move when I'm moving the nozzle around when I'm washing my parts. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the inside. So check this out. Listen. Hear how silent that is? So what I did was I used some DW40 and I sprayed where it actually the rod moves in and out, like here and then up here as well. So if you don't like the noise that it makes when you're opening and closing the lid, just spray it with some DW40. Work perfect. And then also what this type of latch is, it's the kind that if there was ever a fire in here, the pin would melt. It will end up closing the lid because it will detach itself from the actual lid. So that's like the fire safety feature of it. So over here is the well, let me bring it just a little bit closer. So you have the pump right here. There's a washable filter right here. This is the flexible metal nozzle here. And then the Eastwood Parts Washer actually comes with a flow through brush, which this actually works really good. As a matter of fact, I'm actually doing a valve job, and I washed one head already, and I pretty much just used this for the outside part. I have a toothbrush that I need to use for the smaller parts that this couldn't get into. But for the most part, this is like, this right here makes a difference. And you can actually buy this separate for your parts washer. You don't have to buy this Eastwood Parts Washer just to get this. They actually sell these on Amazon, and I think Harbor Freight may sell them in their store as well. Okay, so let's see. So right here, this is the bin that you put small parts in, and as you can see, it has holes in the drain holes in the bottom, and it actually has feet to kind of keep it, you know, up off of the other tray here. Okay, and speaking of tray, let me just kind of move out a little bit. This tray actually, let me just hang this over here. It actually does slide back and forth, and then it actually lifts up to come all the way out so that you can actually put a big part in. If you're trying to like soak it or something like that, you can do that. And so this little guy here, this is the heater. This is stainless steel. I believe the wattage for this is 1500 watts. And what I do is I just drop it down in the cleaner and I turn it on. There's actually an on-off switch on the plug. And this thing works really well. It actually heats the water up to 100, 110 degrees in about 30 minutes or so. And when I'm done with it, you know, I have a spray bottle with just water in it. I just, you know, make sure that to drain out all of the cleaning solution, I just hose it off. And then that's it. So if you want your, you know, your solution to be heated, and it has to be non-flammable, you know, preferably water-based, you could use this to do that. I'll demonstrate that too. Okay, and then up here, what I did, I actually put a weather strip, rubber weather stripping all the way around the lid. And what this does is it actually seals in the fumes, while also at the same time it prevents fluid evaporation. The one thing that I don't like about it though is that because I heat my fluid up, condensation gets all up here. And so what ends up happening is when I open the lid, all the water rolls down and then it ends up falling behind here where the actual holes are for the hinge. So let me go ahead, I'm going to turn this on for you so you can actually see how well it actually works. Oh yeah, let me put the light up here. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Alright. Okay. See? There you go. Here, let me do it again. Okay, so that's with it off. This is the low setting. So you see, it lights up the whole area in here. And then this is the high setting. But I normally just work with the low setting. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on the pump so you can actually see the flow through the brush. So, you see, there you go. And so it's not coming through as fast, and you know, you just go ahead and just wash your parts. And as you can see, you know, my fluid is really dirty. Yeah. But it's still clean, so I'm not even concerned about that. So this parts washer has a maximum capacity of 12 gallons of cleaning solution, and I believe probably the minimum would be 7 gallons, and that's just to get the pump to, you know, push the fluid through the nozzle. I actually have 7 gallons of cleaning solution in here right now, and my mix ratio was 2 gallons parts cleaner and 5 gallons of water. This is where I store the heater for the parts washer when I'm not using it. So as you can see here, I've got some parts here that I'm going to be cleaning today. And let me show you the fluid temp. So you see right now it's 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up all the way up to about 110 degrees. Now the thermometer here is actually going to be on the right side. This is the cable for the sensor right there, and the heater is going to be on the left side here. So basically all I have to do is slide the tray over, totally submerge this like so. Okay, as you see, it's all the way in the water. Turn on the switch, slide the tray back over this way, and as you see, there's enough room where the cord is not being pinched. And what's really great about this, once I heat the water up to the temperature that I need, it'll stay there above 100 degrees for at least 2 hours with the lid open. It only takes about 30 minutes to heat the 7 gallons of cleaner that's in here. Go ahead, I'm going to turn on the pump, and I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning. And I'm going to turn the heater off because I don't need that anymore. The temperature is 105 degrees. And what I like to do first is I like to make sure that I soak my parts first, you know, so I just kind of use the fluid brush and just let the fluid just flow over everything like so, you know, kind of soak it up a little bit. And you want to kind of be careful because it will splash around. Now I'm not going to clean this whole part on camera. I just wanted to just show you how well the cleaning solution works, as well as the parts washer. And really all parts washers are pretty much the same. What makes the difference is the cleaner. that you use. That's pretty much it. Then, you know, you have people that will modify theirs, and one of the modifications that people like to do is they like to install like an oil filter to filter out the particles in the cleaning solution to make it last longer. So I'm not going to do that because I don't see it's necessary to do that, because even with the solution being dirty, it's still cleaning, because as you can see the bubbles. But then also it'll void the warranty of the parts washer. So I'm not going to do that. I don't know if other people have thought about that. If I see that it's a problem in the future, then I will go ahead and invest in that. But as of right now, I don't see a need for it. Okay. So yeah, so as you can see, you know, I'm getting dirt off and all of the oil and all that other stuff. Now I'm gonna flip it over on the side here, because I think this is also very important. And then, like, when you get stuff on your hand like this, you can use the parts cleaning solution to clean it off. See, look at that. It cleans right off, right? Isn't that cool? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish cleaning these parts, and then I'll come back once I'm done with it. And also, here's a helpful tip. Make sure that this always faces down, because I've had a few times where the brush actually came off, and one time the nozzle was facing out that way and it got on my floor. So yeah, it's a good idea to make sure this is facing down, so if this pops off, the solution will stay within the tub. So I'll be back once I'm done with this, and I'll show you the end result. I'm all done cleaning my parts, and the part washer worked really good. I've already cleaned off everything and rinsed everything off so that it'll be ready for me next time. And I'm charging my light here. And check out the parts from the parts cleaner. Everything looked great. Look at the head. Check that out. Look at that. It cleaned it. That cleaner worked really well, and it only took about 30 minutes to do this. All right, so until next time, you guys have a blessed day. This is the cover for it. This is how it's stored when not in use. And the cover goes all the way down, not quite to the floor, but enough where it goes past the actual dolly itself. And it has Velcro ties on this side and then also on the other side. And I could still wheel it around even with the cover on there, you know, and this protects it from getting scratched up, you know, because I normally put light things on top of it.